Greetings and welcome to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Caroline Landis and I am pleased to be serving as your worship weaver this morning. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on land that was the homeland of the Monacan people and that was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa. We honor all who dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering as a community of memory and hope. I invite you now to take a moment to greet others who are with us in worship this morning. Those of you on Zoom can unmute and say hello to another, and those of you in the building, you are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Morning, Donna.
Everyone.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, Laura. I hope everyone's healthy in your household.
Yes, we're all, it didn't spread, so that's
I'm
good.
so glad. So good to see you.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. You can tell who the people who read the news and change their clocks are, can't we? It's good to have you on this early morning.
It is good to be together. We welcome those who are new to our congregation and invite you to join worship in the social hall after service. Feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which is for newcomers in our congregation. We continue to ask that everyone in the sanctuary and throughout the building keep your high quality N95 or KN95 mask in place, covering both your nose and your mouth. If you don't have a face mask with you, we have extras available. When you are in the social hall, and the social hall only, you may remove your mask while actively drinking or eating, and we ask those not actively eating or drinking to please keep your masks on. We see the continued wearing of face masks while indoors as an act of kindness that keeps everyone, especially those most at risk, as safe as possible while we continue to navigate life around the ongoing pandemic and the flu season. Hand sanitizer is provided in the pews, which we invite you to use as needed. In addition to seating in our sanctuary, there is seating in the social hall where you can watch a live stream of the service. Families with young children are the most welcome in the sanctuary, but if you need a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Please do whatever you need to feel comfortable as we worship together. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship both here and online. Our on-site greeters, ushers, and hospitality and logistics team. And special thanks to our AV tech and today Sean Scally, supporting the dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. Our thanks to the Director of Music, Scott Deveaux, for sharing his musical gifts, and I am pleased to be leading this morning's worship with Reverend Leia. Now, here to greet you from your Board of Trustees is Steve Brecker.
Thank you. I am Steve Brecker, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. It's my pleasure to welcome you all here today for worship. In looking at what the ministry theme is for this month, the path to change got me thinking about something my father used to say, is that the only thing you can be sure of in life is change, and that your success in life will be partly due to how you react to and manage that change. So I want you to know that your Board of Trustees is managing change very well, and we're working on developmental goals in conjunction with Rev. Tim for the coming year, 2023. And very soon you're going to be hearing more about these developmental goals. We're going to be notifying you about them, and we invite all members of the congregation to get involved. We need to work together on change and on our developmental goals. So that'll be a process that you'll hear more about after the first of the year. And I look forward to meeting you all in the social hall afterwards. And if you have any questions for what your board is doing, I'll be happy to chat with you about that. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Here are several important announcements this morning. The artist of the month of November is our own Thomas Manto, whose work you see around you this morning. Tom is a graduate of the Rhode Island School of Design and grew up in our congregation. We are delighted to have his art hanging in the sanctuary for the month of November. Our congregation is partnering with Ebenezer Baptist Church to provide food and cleaning supplies to those in need. See the weekly Friday emails for details or see signs in the donation barrels at the Edgewood Lane door. Donations for this effort will be received through next Sunday, November 13th. Are you new to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville? If you are, please join us at 12:15 in this sanctuary for 30 minutes of relaxed conversation at our monthly newcomer circle. Rev Tim and several lay leaders will be there, so get some coffee or tea and join us. Beginning November 20th, we are hosting our homeless guests from Potcham, and together we will be feeding them during the week of Thanksgiving. Help is needed with cooking, serving, setup, and cleanup. Families are encouraged to participate. Information and sign-up links are in the weekly email newsletter. And finally, this Tuesday is Election Day in our country. We urge you to go out to the polls and vote. As you use, we affirm the right of conscience and use of the democratic process. So when you vote, you are putting your faith in action. And now I invite you to rise in body and spirit, or spirit, for our opening hymn, number 368. Now let us sing in the gray hymnal. The words will also be projected on the screen.
And I do want to spend a little time as choral director, letting you know this is a two-part hymn. Yeah, so please go ahead and rise. I'm just going to sit. I'm sitting down because I have to play piano, but I'm just going to do the bass part first, okay? That's the part that's in white there. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice. Next slide, please. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Can we do that one more time? Go back and go back. You do that? Can't hear me at all. Well, check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Yeah. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. So we got that one down. And the upper line, sing to the power of the faith. I think you guys probably know that. Okay, let's try it again. From the top. 1, 2, 3. Now let us sing. Sing, sing, sing. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. And let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Now lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the with one more time. Sing to the power of the one more time then. Sing to the power of the love within. Please be seated.
One of my favorite hymns, and you all did it justice this morning. I now invite Aaron Sanders to please come forward to light our chalice and invite Sean to put the words of the unison chalice lighting on the screen. And Sean, a request for more volume in the pulpit mic. Please join with me. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And then we'll do our hand motions. Start with your hand out flat like the matchbook and your finger is the match. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts. So I'd like to invite the young people who are here in the sanctuary to come forward onto the rug. In addition to our youngest people, any of our middle schoolers or high schoolers who are here this morning, because I need your help. And then anybody who's just feeling young at heart, or those of you who feel like you really have a good handle on the rainbow chalice. Julia Landis, I'm looking at you. So those of you who were in worship on October 23rd saw some videos that some of the young people in our congregation had made, and they were talking about things they remembered about growing up in our congregation. And they kept referencing this idea of the rainbow chalice. We haven't talked about it a whole lot in the last couple of years, so I wanted to make sure we talked about it a little bit this morning. So you'll see right here is the rainbow chalice, and Caroline's going to be my helper because we're going to quickly go through the rainbow chalice and see if we can together remember what all the colors stand for. So the rainbow chalice is a shorthand for our 7 Unitarian principles, and they're in language that helps us all be able to recall them in a time when we're trying to articulate, either for ourselves or for other people, what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. So we start with our red candle, and the red candle reminds us of the principle that starts with the letter R, and R is for red, and R is for another word. Lily.
Respect.
Respect, that's right. And what do we as Unitarian Universalists respect? Yeah, Levi. We respect each other. Yes, we do. What else do we respect, Karina?
Everyone.
We respect everyone. Yeah, and what do you think, Sebastian? Be kind with everyone. Yeah. So there's a way that we talk about respect as Unitarian Universalists that's very particular. And Julia Landis has raised her hand. So Julia, tell us about that.
Respect the inherent worth and dignity of all people.
That's right, the inherent worth and dignity. And that can be some fancy language. But one way to think about it is in here is a way to think about inherent. We respect what's in here, inside of every single person. So that's what our red candle reminds us. You guys did a great job with that. So our orange candle reminds us of something that starts with the letter O. So like orange, you're right, Noah. Anybody remember what the orange candle reminds us? Any grown-ups remember what the orange candle reminds us? Margaret. Offer, that's right. We offer. Offer starts with the letter O. And what is it that we offer, Margaret? Kind treatment, fair and kind treatment. That's right. So that matches the second Unitarian Universalist principle. So we've got our orange candle. So red for respect, O for offer, fair and kind treatment. And then we move on to our yellow candle. Who knows what the yellow candle reminds us? Kasha. Yearn to learn. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, I see Haley. Haley's having some recall here of the rainbow chalice. Another way to think about the yellow candle is yay for learning, because as Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the importance of lifelong learning. Now we're on to our green candle. There are a few more words for this one, but it starts with what letter? G. Hazel, what's our green candle? Exactly. Exactly. That's right. Grow. Grow for green. Grow for our ongoing search for truth and meaning. As Unitarian Universalists, we grow constantly in our ongoing search for truth and meaning. Now we're on to our blue candle. Anybody else remember what the blue candle in the rainbow chalice stands for? Yeah. Believe. Absolutely, Lulu. And what is it we believe in as UUs? Trey, do you know?
Like, if you believe in something.
If you believe in something, that's absolutely right. And it ties into what the grown-ups in this room are going to be doing on Tuesday, which is believing in our ideas and acting on them, because we're going to vote. We're going to act by voting. So the blue candle is believe in your ideas, but it's not enough just to believe. You have to act on them. And now we are on to our indigo candle. Anybody know what the indigo candle reminds us? Oh, I heard it. Insist. That's right. And what are we insisting on as Unitarian Universalists? Karina.
Love and friendship.
That's good. That's very good. Love and friendship are good, but that's not what this particular principle is reminding us. Anybody? Yeah. Peace and justice. That's right. So we believe as Unitarian Universalists in the importance of insisting on peace and justice. And now we're to our last candle on the rainbow chalice, and it's violet. So it starts with a V. What do we remember when we light our last candle? Noah. Value. And what are we valuing? What do we value as Unitarian Universalists? We do value each other. Yep. Sometimes I do my hands this way, and that helps you remember. Oh, I see a hand in the back. Camille. That's right. We value our interconnection to the web of life. Good job, everybody. Wonderful. So we have our rainbow chalice here. It's missing something, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we do that, Scott is going to lead us in a song to help us think about some of the things we value as Unitarian Universalists and how singing about can help us get inspired into action.
Okay. For this, I need this because I want to be able to, excuse me, to be able to clap my hands while I sing. Let's just try doing this. Doom, bop, 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 bop. There are more waters rising in this world. This I know. There are more waters rising in this world. Let's try sing that. There are more waters rising in this world. This I know. There are more waters rising in this world. Try that one more time. There are more waters rising in this world. This I know. There are more waters rising in this world. Let me go. There are more waters rising, I will find their way to me. There are more waters rising in this world. This I know, there are more waters rising in this world. Let's try that one first. Okay, let's try this one, the same thing. There are more fires rising in this world. This I know. There are more waters rising in this world. There are more fires burning. They will find their way to me. There are more fires burning in this world. This I know. There are more fires burning in this world. There are more mountains falling in this world. This I know. There are more mountains falling in this world. There are more mountains falling. They will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling in this world. This I know. There are more mountains falling in this world. I will wade my way through this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters, they will find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will walk through the fires, they will find their way to me. They will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, they will find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. Thank you very much for trying to learn that with me. Obviously, I'm still learning it myself. These are new hymns that we're introducing here, and it's lovely to be able to work them out with you. We will return to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And it is good to keep learning new things. It's part of what we value as Unitarian Universalists. So we've lit our beautiful rainbow chalice, but as I said a minute ago, there's something missing from the rainbow chalice. And we're going to watch a video right now that someone made that helps us understand a little bit about what it is that's missing. So a person from the Unitarian Universalist congregation in San Francisco made this video, and I've been wanting to share it with you.
What is the eighth principle? Well, you know our 7 principles, right? They're things that matter to us. Things that guide how we are as a community, how we treat each other, and what we want to bring more of into the world. Just like each of us is always learning and growing, we know our principles have to grow sometimes too. This is the story of the 8th principle. A few years ago, some UU leaders spoke up. They told us these principles we love, they left something out. Like many who'd come before them, they spoke about how people still aren't being treated fairly because of the color of their skin, or where they come from, or other things that make them who they are. And that happens not only in the world at large, but even in our congregations, even in this one. So we need to do more to make sure that all people can feel welcome and loved here. We need to say more about our commitments to fight against racism, because racism hurts everybody. In fact, it hurts all 7 of our principles. And so, the 8th principle was born. The 8th principle is a commitment to fight against racism and oppression, and to build a beloved community of love and trust and belonging here in our church and in the world around us. We're going to be talking about the 8th principle a lot this spring, learning about it and what it means for this community. What does the 8th principle mean to you?
So as that video says, we're going to be talking a lot about the 8th principle together and what it means to us. So right now we're going to sing our hymn that welcomes our young people out to their religious education classes, and they're going to take their lanterns with them. And I invite you to stay seated, and their helpers, their guides, to come forward and help our children on their way to their classes.
Time as we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness that we learn guide our hearts till we return.
You now to settle into your own body, into this time and this place together. Just notice what it feels like to be you in this moment, in this place. Notice your breath as it moves in and out of your body. We are part of an interdependent web, a community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making the time to share the joys and the sorrows which we hold in our hearts. I'm going to light a candle now for these spoken joys and sorrows, as well as for the unspoken ones that remain deep in our hearts.
This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our monthly social action collection is being taken for our hospital meal packet program, and I invite Margaret Gorman and Isabella Kitzman to tell us more about this important effort up at this mic.
Hi, I'm Margaret Gorman. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, I'll try to. Thank you, Leah. So here's a meal packet. I guess I'll do that for you. So this is our 13th year of making meal packets for the University of Virginia Medical Center. Wow. Amazing. It started off as a little one-off with the children in the Sunday school with religious education for the red and orange candles. So I was really happy that today is a candle day. Let's see. I'd like to give just a quick shout out to Erin Sanders, because I bet she's made more meal packets than any youth in our church. And thank you, Erin, for your constancy. Today, we have Bella with us. She's a social worker at UVA who offered to come in and talk about what the meal packets, how their impact is at the hospital. I'll say a couple more words and then I'll give it to you. Your generous donation lets us go shopping to buy food that goes into a 1-gallon Ziploc bag, along with cutlery and a napkin and a nice note from the person who's made these. Who in the church has made a meal packet? Yeah, like most of us, yeah. So we all know what those are about, and if you don't, it's a nice note. And we were given feedback that the notes mean as much to the person who receives the food as the food. These go to people, and I'll have you explain who gets them. And after a period of time when the hospital shut down with COVID, we didn't have any meal packets, and now it's roaring back, and I'm getting calls monthly from the social worker we make meal packets, and we take our little car and go into the loading zone among all the trucks and vehicles at the loading dock, and Abdul comes down with a cart and takes the meal packets up to the social work office where they are given to people who need them. Is that a good start? Okay, I'll give it to you now.
Thank you, and thank you guys for having me today, and thank you for making these. I was just made aware that you guys were who donated these to us and made them. They make such a difference in my work and our community as a whole, so thank you. I've been working at UVA since July, so I'm still new, and I have been using these meal packets since I started. To kind of give a rundown of what the social work department does at UVA, I'll do that first. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with social work or what social work looks like in the hospital, we kind of we work with patients as a whole. So we have doctors and nurses and all the other staff doing such important medical work. And social work comes in with our training and background as seeing the person as a whole and meeting all of those needs that a person comes in with. So we have people coming into the hospital for medical reasons, but they also have other things going on in their lives, whether that's contributing to why they're in the hospital to begin with, or whether those are background things. So I work on the cardiac unit and see people of a wide range of ages, and I meet needs like we have patients who come in who are homeless, and we have to figure out a discharge plan, because after we give them medical care, we can't just send them out onto the streets if we can prevent that. We also work with families, because when we think of the person as a whole, we think of what their support systems are and what those look like. And so the meal packets are very helpful when that comes into play, because we want to be meeting not just the needs of the patient, but the basic needs of their family and support system, so that we can get the patient better as fast as we can. So the hospital provides breakfast, lunch, and dinner to our patients, but they do not provide meals to family members. And so we have families who are coming and staying with their loved ones for days, weeks, months at a time. Sometimes people are from out of state. They're staying in hotels and having to pay out of pocket to just be able to provide that support and not stay and just sleep in the chair in the hospital room. We have those types of resources we'll connect people with. But those people either need food because they can't pay for it while they're in the hospital. They may not be staying in a place with a kitchen if they had wanted to go grocery shopping. But also really what happens is it highlights that there's people in our community who would not be able to have fed themselves if they weren't in the hospital. And now that they're here with their loved ones, we see that they need that food to meet their needs. And so these are what we bring them. We can bring them food vouchers as well that discounts their meal in the cafeteria, but those are really limited, so we can only give one per person. It takes $10 off of their meal every 6 months, which is basically nothing. So if you have a family who's also not able to work, that happens a lot, and that's also what we deal with the patients. You get a hospitalization that puts you out of work. You have to apply for disability. Your future work life is altered, but you also have family members who are having to drop everything to be there for months at a time. And that takes a really big financial strain on people. So that's a other really big thing the social work department does, is just try to meet financial needs of our patients and their families. And this is a really great resource. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and we really appreciate it.
I'll close by saying that I learned, Abdul sent out a call to the social work department, and Bella came. We got other messages that I'll share when I can get my printer to work again. But some of them are so touching because a lot of our meal packets go to the neonatal intensive care unit where the mom stays with their babies. And the social worker wrote in about how this is the only food for a very tired, overwhelmed nursing mother. So what we do makes a tremendous difference in people's lives. We're going to making a few changes in the next year because the access to microwave ovens is disappearing. So our meals are going to change. And if anybody wants to start working with me, I think it's time that we form a committee and work together to realize that after 13 years, I guess this is going to be here for a while. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Margaret and Isabella. We ask that you generously this month to support our meal packet program. Sean, could you show us the social action slide for giving, please? Each week, we invite everyone to the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of our congregation. Through your pledges and with weekly Sunday morning offerings, together we build the future of our congregation and our larger community. This is our shared ministry. During the music which follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or going to our website. Here in the sanctuary, you may bring cash or checks forward. During this musical prayer, you are invited to share not only financial gifts, but you are also invited to share your joys and concerns of your heart. So, those on Zoom may put them in the chat box, and those of you at Rugby Road may come forward to place a stone in the water. The stone symbolizes what is in your heart, and the water represents the soothing embrace of our caring community offers to your joys and sorrows. You may also leave us a note in the joy and sorrow paper provided here. Let us hold one another in a compassionate embrace, and let us dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good."
Caroline and I are going to share a reading with you now by Sophia Lyon-Foz entitled, "It Matters What We Believe." Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged.
Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies.
Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities.
Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness.
Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction.
Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world.
Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
It matters what we believe. Well, good morning again, friends. I am glad you remembered to change your clocks with daylight savings time ending this morning. It's rather fitting to begin our exploration of November's ministry theme, The Path of Change, on a day when all of us here are experiencing the time change and gaining an extra hour. So let's take a few moments together to settle into this month's ministry theme, the path of change. What comes to your mind and heart when you think of change? Autumn, with the foliage so brilliantly surrounding us in Central Virginia, offers a daily visual reminder of change. And changing our clocks by an hour is a good example of how change, large or small, really any change, can be challenging. It seems to be part of our wiring as humans to meet change with resistance. We fight it, deny it. We want to hold on to that feeling or belief that we are in control. Yet change is constant. Constant in our lives and constant in the world around us. We experience it every day, whether we acknowledge it or not. Change and our ability to notice it, to respond to it, to adapt to it, to go on, are part of what it means to be alive. Change can be complex. Sometimes it's for the better. Sometimes it's painful or scary or is experienced as a loss. And sometimes it is all these things and more, and when we look back over our lives, changes that might have been experienced one way at the time are understood differently in hindsight. You've probably heard the quote attributed to Mark Twain that the only person who likes change is a baby with a wet diaper. He is also attributed with saying, "I'm all for progress. It's change I object to." And then there are times, perhaps, when you yourself have thought or said, "I need a change." And that insight can be both liberating and terrifying. When I was 11 or 12, I had a bright red t-shirt that I wore practically every day to school. It was a shirt sold as a fundraiser by the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, the sibling organization to the Unitarian Universalist Association, that works to advance human rights and social justice around the world. So my shirt had emblazoned across the front a chalice with the words, "Change the world, I want to stay on." And I think I wore that shirt until it fell apart. Indeed, everything changes. Fight it or embrace it. Change is. What I want to focus on in our time together this morning is our call to change. As individuals, you and me, as a community, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville, and as a faith, our wider Unitarian Universalist movement. Unitarian Universalism has much to offer our hurting world. We have a history of prophetic leadership and action that, while far from perfect, continues to aspire to be on the right side of history and to embody the life-changing and life-saving theology that is our inheritance. We as UUs have so much to contribute to helping co-create the beloved community. This belief and understanding was reaffirmed for me when I attended the annual fall conference of the Liberal Religious Educators Association, known by its acronym LREDA, last month. The LREDA Fall Conference is held annually in different places around the US and Canada. And about 4 years ago, the LREDA board made the commitment to have our gathering in Birmingham, Alabama, a location that might not be top on a list of conference locations. Yet the board knew that we, as UU religious educators and leaders, needed to meet together in a place that holds importance in our collective consciousness. Birmingham and its nearby communities of Montgomery and Selma are places directly connected to our country's struggle for civil rights. These communities are places of pain and horror and places of truth-telling and ongoing change. The COVID pandemic prevented our conference from meeting in person for several years, so we kept postponing our meeting in Birmingham, but not breaking our commitment to do so when we were able to gather in person again. And finally, this October, we were able to gather there and to explore the conference theme, Faith Made Real, Exploring the Eighth Principle. As I shared earlier in this morning's service, the 7 UU principles and our 6 sources, which are listed in the front of the gray hymnal if you want to look at them, have served us well. While not our creed, we don't have one, we are a covenantal faith, they are a set of shared values that we affirm and can be helpful as we articulate who we are as UUs and what is important to us as a community. Yet, as the little film we watched earlier showed us, the 7 principles are not perfect. They are not inviolable. They might be ready for some change, to evolve with us as we are ever evolving as a people and as a faith. That's part of what it means to be a living tradition. Our call is to continue to grow, to continue to adapt, to change in each of our journeys towards wholeness and as a faith tradition. And our call is to continue to heal and repair where we have fallen short and caused injury, even if unintended. At Fall Conference, through keynote talks and small group work and worship services and resource sharing, we were reminded and encouraged and called again to the important and ongoing work of dismantling racism in our Unitarian Universalist spaces and in the wider world. Many Black and Indigenous and people of color have been saying for years that the 7 UU principles are missing something important. Our principles, as currently expressed, are not explicit enough in their naming of our commitment to racial justice. Our current 7 principles leave out that working for racial justice is how we practice Unitarian Universalism. Many have advocated for the addition of an 8th principle, and there has been a multi-year process to modify the UUA's bylaws and add the 8th principle. But this effort has been slowed down and stifled, often by well-meaning white people who argue that the 1st and the 7th principles can be understood to include everyone and all living things. There have also been people who take issue with the language put forth as the proposed 8th principle. They want to tweak the wording, and this has, consciously or not, prevented forward momentum of adoption of the principle. It has been helpful for me to remember my commitment to center the voices of Black, Indigenous, and people of color, to not get in the way of what we are hearing many of them say, to not wordsmith their work, to hear that our 7 principles as currently written are not enough. They aren't inclusive enough. That our people, all of us, deserve better and need explicit language to help us weave a new fabric of belonging. This request, this desire, this dream of an 8th principle with language that has been used to create it is something that I can get behind. Let's read it together. We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. For me, I say I am all in. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't sound like an easy path, nor is it an aspiration or a commitment that I take lightly. But I believe it is imperative for each of us to take up this call. And we need each other to help us do this important work. We need to do it together. It's the only way if we truly want to not only survive, but to thrive. And if we do the work, it will show us how. Are you with me? One of the worship leaders at Fall Conference this year was the Reverend Denise Graves. And in the opening worship service, as part of the preparation for the content of the conference, in particular, our trip to the Living Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Reverend Graves preached on being shoulder ready. As she prepared us for the work ahead, she had us all stand up and imagine the generations coming after us, the people coming after us who would need to stand on our shoulders. She asked us to think about the children coming along and how they're going to need to stand on our shoulders. The babies who have yet to be born and who are going to need to stand on our shoulders. So she asked us to be shoulder ready. She asked us to get ourselves together, to do what we need to do to be ready so that people can stand on our shoulders. In another sermon on another day, I'll share more about that experience and help us continue to do the work together so that we can better answer the call to be shoulder ready. But in the meantime, I invite you to explore this idea and the ways in which you feel shoulder ready now and the ways you might want to stretch yourself to strengthen your capacity, to strengthen your shoulders, to make ourselves shoulder ready. I ask you again, are you with me? So where are we with the process of getting the eighth principle to be adopted by the UUA bylaws as part of our purposes and principles? It is a multi-year process, and the General Assembly of UU congregations is engaged with this work. At the same time, individual UU congregations have already begun adopting the eighth principle on their own. That's right. Congregations don't have to wait to act because in our faith tradition, each congregation has autonomy in matters such as this. We can decide for ourselves whether or not to adopt the eighth principle. Here's what the numbers look like right now. As of 2020, there are 1,027 UU congregations and covenanted communities. Over time, this is how many have adopted the eighth principle. There were no adoptions between 2013 and 2016. There were then 3 adoptions in 2017. In 2018 and 2020, there were 29 adoptions. In 2020 to 2021, there were 117 total adoptions. And as of last May, there were 220 total adoptions. And there's a goal for 300 by the end of this spring. So I applaud the 220 congregations that have adopted the eighth principle, and I hope that this year we will adopt it too. In the coming months, Reverend Tim and our congregation's board will be leading our congregation through important conversations and soulful work that helps us articulate with clarity who we are and what we want to be as the UU congregation of Charlottesville. We'll do thoughtful work together that will help us name our shared priorities, proclaim with enthusiasm who we are and what we want to teach our children, and how we want to embody ourselves and our shared beliefs and values. There will be change involved because there always is, but we're on a path together to be shoulder ready. This path of change we are on, called life, demands that we be bold. It demands of us, in the words of Maya Angelou, to do the best we can until we know better, and then when we know better, to do better. As people of faith, we want to do better. We want to keep evolving. We want to be relevant in an ever-changing world. And as we continue to do this work together, may we be on fire with commitment. Commitment to heal hurts that bind us to the painful past, and to keep working for justice and liberation for us all. In the coming days, may we embrace the path of change and do the work together to be shoulder ready. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit and sing with passion our closing hymn, The Fire of Commitment. Let's sing it so loud that the people in this neighborhood say, something's going on at that church today. As we leave this time together, may you carry in your heart the power of faith, the power of hope, the power of love, knowing that you are shoulder ready to go forth and face whatever changes and whatever challenges you meet. Let us go out into the world and each do the work of co-creating heaven here on earth. Until we are together again, may you know that you are held in love. Amen and blessed be.